have a right product to do it. I'll give you an example. If you were to do a construction business, usually you need to fork out a lot of money. And the circle of return usually is about 6 months. Yeah, if there's any contractor here, where your main con will owe you money, and then after 6 months they pay you, and then you roll for another 6 months, you get another payment. And the return is usually about 2 to 5%. If you get a 5%, I think you get a bonus deal. Usually it's just 2%. So if you are talking about return on capital employed, then you will have a 4% per year. That is not bad. But 4% per year, you might as well put the money into the bank and get the 4%. But I ask a lot of contractors, a lot of Chinese are contractors, why would they want to go into the business knowing that your return is not that high? They will tell you that, look, it is sometimes not because of the return, but it's because of the cash flow business, so that they use the cash to flow and do something else. So every business has its own unique identity. So you have to understand that the business in order to know how money is being made. My background is accountancy. I was an accountant by profession. So my whole life I've been dealing with numbers. So I will only talk to you about facts and numbers. I don't give you any other things. I don't deal with futures. I don't play shares. I don't do anything. But we call it entrepreneur. Entrepreneur means you use your hand, legs, and your brain to work and find money. And before I start, I would love to share with you there's a difference between a scam and a business. A business is where I take money, I use that money to invest in a business. Usually it's a trading business so that it is faster. And from the trading business, we would then make money to give you back. So we are not talking about margin of sales. There are two differences between margin of sales and return. Okay, a lot of people talk to you about, if somebody talk to you about return more than 10%, it is a scam. I must tell you this, they are looking at the margin of sales. Margin of sales sometimes is very small. They can do a business of 1 billion and the return is 10%, so you got 100 million, am I right? But I ask you a question. Do you use 1 billion cash to do a 1 billion business? You don't. You probably use 100 million to do a 1 billion business. So you churn out 10 times, you roll. Every time gives you 10%. So what is your return? It's 100% on your capital sum. Is it wrong? If you put money in an FD, you are still talking about 4% on your capital. But you only roll one time, because the bank pays you 4% a year. 3 something lah. But the bank will probably go and lend to somebody many times and churn out much more to lend you. So what is the difference between bank and us? They have a license lah. But we also have a license, but a different kind of license to do this. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So all in all, if you look at it, it is the same thing. It's a matter of how you do it. Our principle is not to cheat. It's never. If you call it a scam, I tell you we have been around for 16 years. So if I can last for 16 years, I think you give me a Guinness World Record for that. That's not bad. But I would tell you that, look, a business return means you take the money, go and do a proper business, churn out, and then you pay everyone. The scam is they take your money and then they divide the money and they pay off everyone, so the money is gone. Okay, so they have to rely on the bottom, the new members, a bigger base, because it's always in the pyramid system. These people to feed the one on top. Yeah, but I met some friends. Yeah, one Dato. I know him for about 40 years. He is a very old-fashioned Chinaman businessman, and I know he made over the years hundreds of millions. But he said, look, so what? It is a scam. So what? It is a scam. He said, look, I only want to back for 5 months. If they can survive more than 5 months, I break even. The 6 months is my profit. So he told me that actually he followed that one that has been closed for about 1 year plus. He said, I make a lot of money. So it's okay. so it all depends on how you look at it. But here I want to tell you about, there's some seats here. Some seats here, you can actually sit down. I prefer the door to be closed because they're working and they're all programmers. My programmers are from Pakistan, Philippines and all those places. Getting a Malaysian programmer is tough. It's very expensive. So you have kids studying programming, tell them to come back here. Because we are short of programmers. 2 years experience now they demand for 7,000. And every 3 months they will then jump to a new job. Okay, so what we do is we employ people from Philippines, Pakistan where they don't have jobs. So and then you tie up with the visa, working visa, they stick to you for 3 years. So you must know how to adapt and change and think how to survive, yeah, in a very harsh environment. So if you look at this, very simply, we have Malaysia. We have been around for 16 years. We have Indonesia. We have been there for 9 years. It is not easy to make money from Indonesian. They tell you that there is 300 million population. You try. The first thing in the mind of any Indonesian, are there any here? I have to ask because Indonesian now, first thing they think is how to make money from you first. Alright? So I tell you, your own country is still the best. We have been there, we are in the business of dealing with women. We don't trade women yet. In Indonesia, the ratio between men and women, it's 108 to 101. The same goes to Thailand. Okay, that's why the women in Indonesia and Thailand, they work. They got to leave their family and work and then send money to the husband and the husband go and drink and find another woman. Now because of competition, they tend to make up better than Malaysian. In Malaysia, you know the ratio, men is 108, women is 101. So we are short of women. So you don't have threat. So sometimes you go to one utama, you see some aso go with pants and t-shirt and with slipper, and then you look at the husband, damn handsome. In Malaysia, you don't have to do a lot, So, but in Indonesia and Thailand, you really got to work very hard to make sure that you retain your husband. So we wish to be there. So Thailand, we have been there for 9 years. If you know Era One, you know Central World,
Yes.
our office is opposite at 12th floor. Indonesia, we are at Tamrin Road. If you know Tamrin, you know Sarina, they got bombed recently. We are not far from there, 5-story building. And in Singapore, we have to be there because of our principal asks us to be there. So the next thing is, I go very quickly. It is in 2001, 4th of July, which is Independence Day of America. It was formed 100% Malaysian company. We started off as a software house. Then we realized that doing software is tough because when we quote our customer 300,000, our staff do moonlighting, quote 10,000. So you cannot compete with your own staff, right? Because they want to find extra jobs and extra income, they can just quote 5,000. So it's very tough that you want to quote a 1 million business unless you quote our government. So otherwise it's tough. We are an MSC status company. What it says is very easy. There are 10 things that the government guarantee us. One of the things is called Bill of Guarantee. Number 4 is that as an IT company, we are able to invite investors from all over the world. Okay? All over the world minus Israel. Yeah, you read this exception. And then you cannot have, money laundering activities. You cannot have terrorism financing. But sometimes it's very difficult to say that you are a terrorist or you are not until you bomb us, right? So, did we do any detector just now to see whether end of the concert is dangerous now? We are a member of franchise. To get this, you have to go through a process. Basically, it takes about a year. They do checkings. Maida will do the checking, and that will do all those checking. And last year we did about 500 million. This year we expect to go to about 650 to 700. We have a headcount of 250. The reason why is that we are an IT company. We don't have to have a lot of headcounts. We use IT to propel our operation. So we take away a lot of manpower. And manpower is expensive nowadays. All Malaysian businessmen do not want to employ local because it's expensive. And local got a lot of MCs, grandmothers. Sakit pun cuti, auntie sakit pun cuti, and sometimes dia punya uncle mati pun dia cuti. So I always say sometimes we kesian the family kan. So many people mati and sakit kan. So These are some of the awards that we have received. Yeah. This is a 10 years award by Grand Laureate. It is on technology innovation. The other award is this. This is our Prime Minister. We love him. It is an award given because we are a customer of the bank, and they have about 24,000 customers, and Ernst & Young did the audit and they chose us to be the winner of this category, and this is us. Again, I said this is that it has been audited by the bank, it has been audited by the auditor, Ernst & Young, Big Four in the world. It can't be wrong, right? This is another one from SME Bank. If you are an SME, you have this SME Corp, and SME Corp actually rate you 3-star, 1-star, 4-star, or 5-star. What it means that if you are given a 4-star or 5-star, very rarely you got a 5-star. Out of 800,000 companies, when you are at the 4-star, you're at the top. You are at the top. About 2,000 companies is rated 4. It means to say that everything is okay with you. They will rate you. They will do all kind of search and then they rate you. Okay? Don't need to take this. You pay attention to me, you will remember all this. This is another one that we got a license from Bank Negara to do payment gateway. Now everything is moving towards e-commerce. Okay? I know Max invested in some e-commerce company. Whatever they do, I'm not interested on the front end. You can build another app to do taxi. You build an app to do your motorbike taxi. You do an app to sell whatever. At the end of the day, you come back to one pipe, which is payment. So I only need to hold your payment. You don't have a payment gateway, apa pun tak payah buat. You get what I mean? Okay? So, because every day and every now and then there are so many new websites coming out. You cannot be competing with them, set up so many businesses, right? The only way to compete is to hold them. The Chinese, the Malay kata pegang bola kamu lah. So you cannot do anything lah. Yeah? Even if you get 0.1% to 0.5%, if the transaction volume is high, that is a lot of money. And there's not much thing to do because you only receive at the back end. You can keep their money for 3 days. Some company keep it for 7 days for settlement. What do I do with the money? I do OPR. FIBOR is around 3%, right? So you can do OPR. That's what I want to tell you. Don't deal with HSBC. If you have any ex-HSBC here. HSBC like to, if you use their credit card, anybody use HSBC? Yeah. You use their credit card, you pay cash, they will hold your money. Cannot clear tomorrow, only they clear, right? You know what they do? They take your money and do OPR. If you do transfer, if you are not talking about rentas, they like to. Don't give me HSBC, okay? I will reject your money. I don't like HSBC because it's too much of headache. There was one rentas they took 3 days to do. Rentas 3 days to do.
Rentas.
You know why? You tell them rentas, you go. You tell them urgent date, urgent. What sekarang? They will still go and put on the table and queue. And rentas cut off is at 3:30, right?
Yes.
If you have past 3:30, what can you do? Then I tell Max very easy. When you have informed me, you have given me the form. As far as I'm concerned, your money is in anytime. I also need to buy stock so that because the money start counting on the day. But what if your money don't come? Then how? How am I going to take? So to tell you this, sidetrack sikit lah, kan? Please don't give me HSBC. I'm so scared. This is Bill of Guarantee number 4. If you read, it says that under this, we are free to source capital globally unless otherwise stated in Anti-Money Laundering Act and also Exchange Control Act. All right. This is investment. Unless you take a loan from foreign, then they cap you at 1 million. Otherwise, literally, we don't have a cap. So long as you don't go and do benda yang bukan-bukanan. Alright, really take the money and go and do this. So we have been around for 16 years. Somebody called me. This one actually allowed us to get investments. Again, I said this, they don't simply give you MSC status, or when you go to Bank Negara and actually apply for a license, only a small number of people get their license. Again, the process takes about a year to two. They do a lot of checking on the owner as well as the company. They check the background. Okay, the next one. I do a very quick one. These are some of our partners. Because we are a gateway company, we deal a lot with the banks. We are also doing one very unique business. It's prepaid top-up. So you can see there's a lot of top-up companies like XL Comindo, U-Mobile, TuneCom, and Maxis, and so on and so forth. We are primarily in two businesses only. One is called, this is the company. The board of directors, it's a very simple setup, it's a very proper setup. We have a few offices. Due to the reason why we have a few companies, I actually have 3 MSC status company. These are the businesses that we have. This is low-cost airline. I don't have to talk to you a lot about low-cost airline, right? You know Malindo, you know Lion Air, you know Air Asia, you know all this. Do you know that they make money? Air Asia makes money. Malindo is coming up because you need an economy of scale in order to make money. Before you reach economy of scale, you may struggle a little bit. Any economists here? You know, economy of scale, that means you have to be at certain size. To make money in low-cost airline, you look at two things. One is called RASK, R-A-S-K, the other one is called CASK, C-A-S-K. RASK means is revenue per available seat per kilometer. CASK is cost per available seat per kilometer. For Air Asia, in the past, it's about 14.8 cents per kilometer against 11 cents. So for every kilometer, every seat, they make 3 cents. Multiplied by the distance, let's say go to KK, is 900 kilometers. Every seat, they make that kind of money per head. So it's very simple. In a nutshell, you only need to do this because they take all costs into consideration against the revenue. So if the revenue is higher than the total cost, then you sure make money. Am I right? Unless you have an extraordinary item in our accounts, which is not related to operations. Sometimes you write off some investment. Otherwise, we are fine. Today, so long as all the low-cost airlines volume of passenger increase, we make money. You know why? Because in accounting, loss or gain may not be determined by your operation. They could be other extraordinary items like sale of company, you make losses, you invest in other businesses, you have an impairment. But in operation-wise, so long as your RAS is higher than your CASK, you'll be okay. MAS, before they wind up, their CASK is 24 cents. Their RAS is 21 cents. Your revenue is 21 cents, your cost is 24 cents. So do you confirm that you lose money? You don't confirm. Confirm. But now they're trying to come back, but they are not publishing any numbers at all because they passed another MAS Act. Under the MAS Act, they are given that shield that they will not disclose until the day. So we don't know. But anyway, all of us own that company because that's taxpayer company. Am I right? At one point, you remember one of the airlines say, look, how can they have a higher cost and a lower revenue? And they compete with me. And that 6 billion bailout, I also pay tax, so it was actually me against me. Right? So that's a lot of interesting things. So this one, if you look at Air Asia does about 7 billion a year. Air Asia acts about 4 billion, so it's 11. Malindo is about 2 billion at the moment, it's 13. Firefly is about 500 to 1 billion. All in all, Malaysia market for this low-cost airline is about 16 billion a year. And we are still growing at more than 10%. Okay? Passenger growth is about 11 to 17%. Revenue growth in the last 3 years was 30% every year, year on year. So, I always need money. So make sure you have a lot of it. Because why? They grow too fast. When I go to the bank take 3-4 months to process. By the time I got the loan, it's too late. You know. So I always need bridging investor. That's why we need you, and that's why you make money. My friends or the younger generation ask me, they say, sir, how do I make money? I say very simple. You go out, you walk. And then you see they got problem. When they got problem, means there is a chance to make money. You only need to look for problems. Am I right? Taxi in Malaysia, it sucks. I don't know about you. Have you tried going into one taxi in Malaysia? You look at the driver like touch. Okay? You look at the cushion, it's like things like they got sperm stain one. Sometime, yeah. Have you taken one? And then you see the proton car right? So we have a very big problem. In China, similarly, you have big problem. Now, because the bigger the problem, the bigger opportunity you have. That's why you have Uber. Uber is a great idea. And you know how much Uber worth today? Uber worth 70 billion. 70 billion USD, Uber. And the value is still going up. And do you know that they lose money every month? 500 million USD every month. They lose. 1 year they lose 6 billion USD every year. But the valuation of Ubers keep going up. Because why? People buy a hope. No problem. You pay for all the food. So, low-cost airline, 90% of Southeast Asia market of 640 million population, 90% of us are middle low income. You are the fortunate one in the cluster of 10%. Okay, most of them are below 90% of them. You go to China, no, you go to Thailand, you go to Indonesia, you would see that majority of them are not rich. Now, so, but human beings need to travel. So how do you travel? You go to low-cost airline. Okay, our GDP for Malaysia last quarter was good, 5.6, yeah. So very robust. This year we are still looking at 4.6 to 4.8. 4.6 for 4.8 is great, you know. Thailand is looking at 3.3. All in all, ASEAN we are looking at about 5% on average. 640 million population growing at 5% GDP means every year we have more money in the pocket. Am I right? Our population growth in ASEAN is 7%. Because at night sometimes we don't have entertainment, so we do some free entertainment. So that population growth as well as the GDP growth will spur the growth of low-cost airline. Take any research paper and do this. Take any quarters of AirAsia report and you read this. It's always on the up. And AirAsia have just signed with Vietnam, one partner in Vietnam last month, and last week they have just signed with China. That is the biggest market of all. Okay? And he said, look, he has done the last thing, the last piece of thing. You know why? The bloody China is so big. And they also got India. India got 1.3, China got 1.4. What more do you want? He got 3.7 plus 640 million. All in all, I think he has got about 5 billion people in his hand, in his pocket. So this one needs a lot of money because we prepay them. Because the bigger the market is, the more ticket we are going to sell. The more ticket we are going to sell means we need to have more money. Number one. Number two, I'm sure all of you have booked low-cost airline ticket. Sometimes as a husband, I want to take my whole family. But I did mistake sometimes. I didn't ask them, if we cannot go to this place, where else do we want to go? If I cannot get 100 ringgit, how much can I get? Sometimes we will ask our wife, so I turn and say, darling, 100 okay. I turn, hey, it's 200 now. Right? You have the experience, very expensive. So next time you ask, before you ask your wife, you say, look, darling, if it is 100, we buy. 200, okay, 200 buy. 300 also okay, buy. So you don't need to turn and buy. Okay? Because the minute you log in, the log on, it stays. The software is written by human being. Software is run by logic, okay? Logical command. The logic is very simple. Number one is one flight is 180 seats. They have 9 scale of price. Let's say zero price, they only give you 3 seats. Hey, sorry, you think 5 million free seat is whole flight free? Free seat free seat, you fight you fight. Okay, when you fight to get inside, you cannot get the 3, your 20 ringgit, you buy buy lah. 49, cheap also, buy lah. 79, you buy lah. 109, you think lah. Okay, so that is a marketing technique and tactic to get you in. But everybody, if you are not well educated, you will think that, wow, the whole flight is free. Dr. Modi, one of the 20th richest man from India, he came and said, Allan, this world has got no free lunch one. Cannot be zero fare one. I say, doctor, this time you may be wrong. He worth about 1.2 billion USD. Dr. Modi, very stylish guy. I say, you may be wrong this time because you look at all the low-cost airline, yeah? Asia is about 89% full. The load factor, we call it 89% full. So let's take it at 90%. So 10% is not full on average. 10% means 18 seat is not full. Today you go and see, hey, why are you not doing that not full? You then do cheap sales. They won't give away. They won't give away because they take the 18 seat, they do zero fare. 18 seat, zero fare. If they put 3, zero, there's another 15, you can sell at 10.90 or 20.90. You can still sell. It's just a matter for you to sell. Am I right? So, some people ask me, again, I have never spoken to such a big crowd. We call it Rich Man Club is because when we first started, we have our relatives and friends who give us money to do this because we need a lot of capital. So they have been with us for so many years. And you know their money has been, double and triple and so on and so forth. This is, I will tell you about solution. But you can see how big is the market? Anybody don't understand this low-cost airline thing? Number one, the software is, they call it overwhelming response. Do we have to repeat for you? Okay. Number one, the software is driven, the price is always upward. Okay? Have you ever gone into AirAsia and you see that today you buy 10 ringgit, tomorrow become 1 ringgit? Never, I think. Always one way up one. You notice zero fare, you think zero fare tomorrow, zero fare is 9 months later. Okay? They will never give you anything that is near. Am I right? Even in zero fare, we have this thing called blackout. You know what is blackout? Christmas time, sorry, no zero fare one. Christmas time is all full one. Then the normal period only they go back to zero. So they won't lose that. But that zero fare give you something very, very cheap. So software number one is driven by number of booking. And because of nice scale of pricing, they will fix first 10 is zero. Second will go up and up and up. I give you Surabaya. Surabaya, I talk about Surabaya because we have a few million Indonesian in Malaysia. Puasa month they got to go back. Alright? We control all the counters, so we know. During normal time, one way to Surabaya costs you about 240. The night before Raya is 1,800.
Wow.
Same flight, same distance, they don't take another way. Okay? About 9 times the price. That's why I say you go back and look at AirAsia account. Their gross profit is 58%. Their net profit is 24%. Low-cost airlines, you think low-cost make 1%? Gila. 54. Because it's a matter of how you control costs. The whole thing about business is how do you control costs. Am I right? So they say Chinese very good in business. Don't believe it. It's just a matter of how you control costs. So you are clear? Number one is number of booking in the same flight. It jumps. Number two is we call it date of departure. The nearer you are to date of departure, you become more desperate to fly. More desperate means you need to pay more. You don't believe me, the whole flight is empty. You think you got zero fare. One person only fly, the flight, nobody else. You book lah, you won't be zero. You will not be 1,008, probably you pay 800. So it's called date of departure. Software is logical programming that is written there. You cannot tweak and terbalikkan here. The third one is season. Okay, do you know that 26 is a midterm school holiday? School holiday, what do you do? Go overseas. You know the ticket damn expensive. Next week you try to go Singapore this weekend. One way 500. No ticket, all full. Normal day you go Singapore 50 ringgit also you can pay. So you have, Malaysia is a great country. 26 you have school holiday for 2 weeks. All the parents, the non-Muslim, will go Singapore, Thailand, Korea lah. The Muslim will try to go to Umrah lah. And you know Umrah during school holiday is 500 ringgit extra per head.
Don't know.
I know. I actually wanted to go into this business, so I wanted to work in Andalusia. Andalusia is the biggest travel agent for Umrah. They have about mutawif, about 200 of them in Mecca. I know your religion very well. I have Ustad, you should. But I'm not. But I kawan baik dengan Ustad. So Umrah today dekat Malaysia, Umrah we become the destination for Muslim to fly from Kalimantan and Sumatra. They don't go Jakarta, they come here. The southern Thailand has got a lot of Muslim. They don't go to Bangkok because you know Thailand is not a Muslim country. So they come to KL. Cambodia and Laos, you still have a lot of Muslim. They all come to Malaysia and fly.
Oh.
And we like it. You know why? Because if you are a Muslim from Malaysia, where are you from? Kampung? Huh? Dulu? One KL. Okay, that's why lah. They want to go Mecca, they don't need to buy a ticket to come to KL. Buy one ticket to Jeddah ke, Madinah ke, you pergi sampai Mecca ke kan. One ticket, then one ticket come back, only 2 tickets. But you think that the Indonesian one, pada pekan baru datang KL, KL pergi Mecca, Mecca balik KL, KL balik pekan baru, 4 tickets. So we like that. And we deal with people like, you know, in Indonesia you have 2 big groups, one Muhammadiyah and Nahdlatul Ulama and you. These 2 big groups, they have about 40 to 70 million followers. So all these will then go under their banner to go. So they book with us a whole year. Because you want to go Mecca or you want to go travelling, there are 2 things very important to you. One is flight ticket kan. You don't have to flight ticket, tak payah terbang kan. Tak payah pergi kan. You dah sampai sana nak tinggal kat mana? Tinggal kat masjid, nanti penuh. So if I'm not wrong, you go for Hajj or Umrah, some of the room if you don't pay a lot, 7 people share one room.
Oh.
Share a small room. But you want to see your God, so don't complain. Am I right? So for Umrah, Malaysia has grown. Umrah do not have a quota. But if you go Hajj, you go for Hajj, there's always 1% quota. They have increased from 28,000 to 31,000, but don't get it wrong, that is for Hajj. For Umrah, there's no quota. You can go every month. And Malaysia actually go a few times a year now. Okay, and plus all these people, we have increased from 300 to 500, 500 to 800. We are going across 1 million. But the problem is, how many airlines has got landing rights in Saudi? Saudi don't give you all landing rights like that. So you have limited flights. Sampai hari ni, some of the travel agent now, they charter cruise. Go back to 1950, go to Mecca by ship. Ada, orang start Andalusia. Di sana dia orang pergi dari Panadi. Yeah, of course I mean non-Muslim don't go to Andalusia, isn't it? But you know, so you understand the market. The other one is Malaysia is also great. If you realize Malaysia, we have not moved from human intensive industry to capital intensive industry. We are so contented with using human being to do our business. Am I right? Today we don't have foreign workers. You know, all the restaurants closed. You go down there, the cafe there, all Filipinos. Today you take away their permit, that shop closed. Not only that shop, so many shops closed. Am I right? So, you know how many foreign workers in Malaysia? Let me guess. I like you, you're always smart. How
5 million.
5 million. No, officially they say 3 million. But you are Indian, right? In a way, right? Okay. How many percent of Indian in Malaysia?
Less than 10. Indians.
Indians, plus the Tamil and whatnot. about 8%. Okay, 10%. 31 million population, 8% is 3 million. Am I right? Okay, in actual fact, you only have 2.4, 2.5. So I said, look, we don't have the number, but just look at this. You see one Indian, how many foreign workers do you see? Alright? It's just like people talk about the consumer pricing, they talk about McDonald's price. So we do a simple thing like this. One Indian, you see how many foreign workers do you see? More than that, right? If you see 10, then you multiply by 10 lah, but it's not 10 lah. Very fortunately. It's about, if I'm not wrong, I was trying to get the number. Eventually, I read one unofficial report in Star. Last year, it said it was about 10 million.
Oh.
Don't believe me, go Jalan Silang in KL there. You go into Jalan Silang, I tell you, you pun takut. It's only foreign. Weekend, you see, they are all foreign workers. Okay? Am I right? So 10 million, what do they do? What do they do?
Prepaid.
They call back lah. They cannot get postpaid because telco takut dia besok hilang kan. So all prepaid, you know. Prepaid market is another crazy thing. But let's talk about low-cost airlines. So it's 16 billion a year. Like I said, you know, AirAsia it's 7, AirAsia X is 4, Malindo is 2. You add up, you got 16. So people ask me, how much do you need? I always ask, how much do you have? Am I right or not? How much do you have? Because the market is damn big. Pardon me, sometimes. The other one that I do is a lot of, we do a lot of prepaid top-ups, but we are distributor. Okay? Now you know that there are about 60,000 dealers selling prepaid. That's why you pergi tengok itu kedai runcit lah, kedai handphone lah, kedai ni, kedai itu. They are all about 60,000 of them. These 60,000 of them, usually their language is a bit kasar sikit, harsh. So there are 3 layers. One is telcos. We have about 8 telcos, 4 big ones, 4 small ones. You have a layer of about 18 of us being distributor. And then we handle the 60,000 of them because they come, they use all the Tiu one. The surname all become Tiu. I'm not good in Cantonese because I don't know how to pronounce the word. So these people, what happened is we have about, do you know how many phone subscribers in Malaysia? Anybody volunteer? Handphone subscribers. 45 million.
Wow.
We used to have 50. When they start charging a fee, then they reduce to 44, 45. We have about 45 million. Because I have 3. I'm sure some of us have 2. Yeah, we have a secret why we have 3, 4, 5. I cannot tell you. We have to share among we men only. And usually, we will, you know, at this age, we are more affluent. We have more money. So we use postpaid. When you don't have money, they say, oh, you tak ada duit, diam lah. Dia kata satu minit 3 sen pun you kena bayar 30 sen. Am I right? Postpaid is more expensive. But when you don't have money, we call guys pagi makan pagi kan. You have 2 ringgit, you top up 2 ringgit lah. You got 5 ringgit, top up 5 ringgit. Don't have money, keep first lah. But 10 ringgit only lasts for 7 days. Do you know that? You know, right? How many prepaid do you have? Are you in the business? Okay. So if you are talking about 10 ringgit lasts for 7 days, which is a week. 1 month, how many times do you have to top up? 4 times. 4 times is 40. So we call it ARPU, average revenue per user. You read any telco report, you will see this word, average revenue per user, ARPU. ARPU is 40. Okay, prepaid in the past is 99%. Now they say last few years they all go to postpaid. Okay, they go to postpaid. Maxis usually is owned by more rich people lah. So who has Maxis? Usually you are seen like richer lah. So Maxis has got about 76% prepaid under Hotlink. DG used to have 99%. Then they start to focus on postpaid. They go to about 90%. You have U-Mobile is 95% prepaid. TuneTalk is 100%. XOX is 100%. You put together all these, even MCMC don't have a correct number. MCMC, you know? Are you from MCMC? You look like a government officer to me. Huh? Retired. You know? Oh, okay. There are 45 million of them, out of which about 80% are prepaid. I said I want the whiteboard because 80% of 44 million is about 36 million times 40 times 12 months. It's about 21 billion. 21 billion because some people don't top up, throw away. So we call it churn. The word is called churn, C-H-U-R-N, churn. Churn, after the churn, you should have about 15 billion. You don't believe me, go back and take Maxis and DG and Celcom don't have a report, you got to go SSM and call it. And then you take all the telco, you put together, it's about 15. I don't know how much is Celcom. Celcom is about 86% prepaid. So you add up, you should get 15 and 16. You add up the two is 32 billion, the whole market size. Again, somebody asked me, how much do you need? I always say, how much do you have? Am I right? Okay. How do you make money then? How do you make money? So you are clear that it is very simple, right? For low-cost airline, it's very easy. The low-cost airline only go up. It's just like during bull market, your share always go up. So you do contra, right? Did you play contra? Because you know somehow the graph go up. Am I right? Then you play contra. You buy today, you sell tomorrow. Then you buy today, you sell tomorrow. You always make some small profit. If you have more capital, you buy today, you don't sell tomorrow. You sell next week, probably you make more. But it is the same concept that if you were to sell it, buy, sell every day, minus the agent fee, you still make the same amount. Except that your risk is lower because you don't hold for 1 week. Sorry, accountant talk about risk management. Okay. So in this case, what we do is we know that the graph is going up. You buy and then you sell. You buy, you sell. You wait for the price up, you sell. And you don't buy the whole aircraft. Why you buy 180 seats? You just need to buy 5-10 seats. Being there for so many years, you know which route makes money. You go KL, KK, you make money one. KL, Kota Baru, I don't understand why. Make money one. You know how many bus companies fly KL, KB, Kota Baru? KB, Airlines, AirAsia got 8. Malindo, I think, has got 4 or 5. Firefly has got about 5. Mars got 5. You know, awful. Daily, I also don't understand KB people. You understand? Very loaded one. So they say, East Coast is very backward, it's wrong. Ya, you tengok yang orang besar-besar tu semua orang Kelantan. Azman Mokhtar and all these corporate figures are all Kelantans. They fly. So back to here. Now, for low-cost airline, it's about buy, sell. That's one thing. Yeah, am I right? Lagi-lagi, if you do group booking, you buy a lot, then you keep and then you sell. Okay? You know, you go online, you can only buy, but you don't have your jalan, you cannot sell. And you cannot change name, right? Right? You cannot change it. If they allow you to change it, you fat already. You can't change it. So they ban changing names, so you cannot change literally. But people like us, we are agents, we have a way to do it. Okay? If I were to teach you, then today I have to give you my business. But it is not a difficult thing. It's all about buy-sell. Okay? So it is a trading business. Okay? For prepaid, it's very easy. When you are a distributor, they want to buy, this 60,000 of them want to buy, they place order with you. And then you buy from the telco. Okay? Let's say now the margin is no good. People say margin is very bad. You heard, right? Prepaid margin is very bad. But prepaid sales is very big, right? So what you do is, when they give you 3, you usually keep 1 because you need to be scolded by them, all the due. Okay? So you keep 1, you give them 2. So let's say I keep 1. Every week we can only order 2 to 3 times. Usually they control you. Let's say it's 2. 2% times 1 is 2% a week. 4 weeks is 8%. But I have a big sales team, I cannot give you a lot of money every month, right? Am I right? Then you say 8, I want 6. Cannot, you run the business. But this is how money is being made. Now, they say that the margin is small, like I said. I'll give you an example. You got 10 ringgit. You go and buy a prepaid, you make 3%. 10 ringgit, actually you need 970, but for simple calculation, you take 10 ringgit. You buy 1 prepaid, you go and find a person to buy from you. Sure, they buy 1. Because everybody needs to top up 10 ringgit. You buy. You sell, you make 30 cents. Every day you can find one customer, 1 month is 30 times. 30 times times 3, 30 cents is 9 ringgit. Your capital is 10 ringgit. What is your capital? Return on capital is 90%. 1 year is 1080%. I'm not talking to you about sales margin, I'm talking to you about your capital return. When you go and do unit trust, you do FD and so on, they are not talking to you about how many times you buy sell. They are talking to you about you invest 1,000, you get 4%. It's still on your capital, so what the hell are you talking about? I'm not talking to you about sales margin, I'm talking about return on capital employed or return on investment, ROI. Accountant, those are the words that we use. Am I right? Am I right? So, can you make money? You can. And the money is always there. I didn't take away your money. It's always in the pool because the bigger money we have, the more we can buy. So that's why we put together all this money and do this. And it's a very fast, only certain product can do this. We call it fast moving consumer product, FMCG. Okay? There is another one. Actually, you have money, a lot of things you can do. You can actually buy cement. You know the cement? One packet I heard is about 9 ringgit something or more than that.
More than that.
There are peak season of the year and low season of the year. During low season, you go to Lafarge. They produce cement. They sell you about 5 ringgit something. But you need to have a big place, to put all the cement. And then government actually subsidize you, if I'm not wrong, 1 ringgit for every packet. You buy first. Then you wait for good season. They say every year twice only. Buy, sell twice. But every packet you make 3 ringgit. They can make 3 ringgit. So if your capital is 1 million, 3 ringgit, one packet is only 10 ringgit, let's say. Your return is very, very high. So there are so many products you can do buy, sell one, except that you don't have